Hey, welcome on into BullsEYE. Boy, do we have a special show for you. Derek Sharp with Caylee Cottrell, Joey Johnston will join us for the next program. And on this one, we've got a few items to get to. Men's basketball coach Amir Abdur-Rahim on. We'll also be joined by Selton Miguel. And timing's pretty good. As we are taping this actually on a Monday, something happened the day before at the Yuengling Center.
Just a little something.
Just a little something that had a little bit of reaction and buzz going on, and there might have been a few events during the game that were slightly dramatic and that kind of thing. And you were there, Caylee Cottrell, for the victory by men's basketball. Their 11th in a row, beating Florida Atlantic 90-86, jumping ahead by 25 points with an incredible first half. We'll get into more of the details in a second of the actual game. And oh, by the way, since we last left from BullsEYE, there was a 17-point comeback against Charlotte. I don't remember how much they were down. They came back. This time they decided to have fun and get way ahead and then see what it was like when the other team came back. It was a little stressful, but let's start with the beginning and being there and what the atmosphere was like.
I'm glad I have a voice today because it was already so loud in there. But man, I was yelling and I jumped in with the SoFlo Rodeo for a bit and felt good to act like a student again and had some fun with them. And man, that was probably like one of the top experiences I think I've ever had here. Absolutely crazy. Like by halftime, looking at the score and then looking at the environment, you know, seeing the performance our guys did in the first half in front of that crowd, I was getting a little bit emotional. And then at the end of the game, last 2 minutes, it was like heart attack city for me. And then we won, and I was like, okay, emotional again. But man, it was, what a day.
Oh, I had all sorts of emotions. I think we all experienced them throughout. You did mention hanging out with the SoFlo Rodeo. There's some cameras on this. Can people see what this is all about?
Yeah, feature today is all about the SoFlo Rodeo. Talked to a couple of their leaders, and what they have done is so incredible. Just to look up and see that sea of green, so dang cool. So they provide the juice, they bring the energy, and they're fun.
As far as the game itself, you have these crescendos throughout the course of a game. It's almost like you can pick one or two moments. It seemed like on Sunday there were a dozen or two or three dozen of them. The performance of the team, I was so just from being on the inside, wanting for everybody to see how good this team is, and man, did everybody get to see it? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, and to see, I talked to Selton after the game too, and you know, he was talking about how Coach Amir wrote us on the board before the game. He's like, us against everybody. And to see him step up the way he did and have the performance that he did yesterday was very, very cool to see.
Well, you're gonna get to talk to Selton Miguel here on as part of this show as well. He was phenomenal coming in off the bench, firing away. 16 points in the first half, 4 of 4 on threes. Chris Youngblood. I know that we've spent a lot of time talking to and about him, but he just continues to give us reasons to marvel.
He does, and he's such a good leader too. Like marvel on the court and off as well. Like the leadership that he has, the maturity that he brings to the team is really cool to see. Met his dad after the game yesterday, and what a great family he has too. Super cool to see that support system.
Did Mr. Youngblood, you know, let it down a little bit, or was he trying to be as cool as Chris is on the court?
He is so cool. Like they have such the same sort of vibe going on. It was so cool to see. He had his Chris Youngblood shirt on, you know, repping him loud and proud. So it was cute.
Youngblood hitting the free throws that finally put it away after Florida Atlantic, which the Bulls had by 25 points with 8 minutes to go. Cut it to 1, but CY is the guy that made the 2 free throws, and then the Bulls get the well-deserved victory there, 11th in a row, 12-1. In the American Athletic Conference, 19-5 overall. That is tied for third best winning streak in the country behind some, I think they won the national championship team last year called UConn and St. Mary's. Now, again, just if we had only the game against FAU to speak about, it would be enough for a full hour. But you rewind back to when we last left off, the comeback against Charlotte, a game that started at 9 o'clock. This men's basketball team just continues to put out memories.
Yeah, 100%. And the next day, we had a women's game, and my voice, again, I had to stop by halftime. So I'm like, I have to sideline our women's game. Like, I gotta reel it back in a little bit. But that was one of the craziest experiences, and I didn't think that could be topped. And then this FAU game, but man,
Well, that winning in Charlotte put the Bulls in first place, and they had to beat FAU to stay there. And then this coming up Sunday, they play SMU, which is right on their heels as well. But right now, the Bulls are in control of the AAC. And you mentioned the women's game. We'll talk about them at the end of the show. They are right in the middle of the pack, but still, I think, have good feelings about them going into the postseason. And we are starting to get to that point. 5 games left in the men's season, and the crowd, the official attendance was, I think, 10,659. I mean, it felt it, I'm sure.
Wild. I mean, that sellout, I think, since 2001, I think I read.
Right.
Man, when they said they were opening the 300s, I was like, okay. And then I really took it all in, and I'm like, what a day, what a moment, what a game for our players to experience that, and for this staff and this team to have that together. So special. And
no one was gone, it seemed like, at the end of the game, right? Well, unless they were wearing red. I mean, you stuck around. I'm sure a lot of people did.
Oh yeah. It was the excitement at the end, and our guys, went into the SoFlo Rodeo and vibed with them, and Coach Amir went up and vibed with them. I love that he does that. Super special.
Well, it was like the only thing going on, because originally baseball and softball were supposed to be playing. It was pouring all weekend long, but that made even more of the tension, not that it wasn't already, on the guys, even more special. So good to see them pull out the victory like they did. We'll talk to Amir Abdur-Rahim about it. Caylee will speak with Selton Miguel. I will speak with baseball head coach Billy Mohl, whose team was supposed to play 3 games over the weekend, but ended up just getting 1 in because of the weather. But a big schedule for those guys, and we'll speak to the manager of the team. And as you just said, a little look inside the SoFlo Rodeo. I hope you had your microphones turned way up, because I'm sure it was crazy.
Absolutely. It was so loud in there. I know our marketing team had like noise-canceling headphones when they were trying to communicate to each other.
Well,
it was awesome.
Well, a guy that was trying to keep it calm, and I think does a pretty good job of doing that, Amir Abdur-Rahim, joins us next on BullsEYE. So with Amir Abdur-Rahim, and Coach, last time we were here, you were telling people to come out to the Charlotte game and you'll keep receipts. We'll get to your Starbucks receipts in just a little bit. But do you need a whole new part of your office just for receipts for all the people that showed up at the Yingling Center for that incredible game?
It was I'm so thankful and grateful for everybody who came out. A little bit of an early start, but it was a Sunday. It was a great atmosphere, and the energy and enthusiasm in the building really fueled our team as FAU made that hellacious comeback. It really fueled our team to stay focused and stay going.
Well, before we get into the crowd, most people, and I'm guessing you, have some sort of game day, if not complete routine down to the second. You're focused on the game. But here it is 2 hours before the game. And what inspired you to go outside in the rain? Because that was a cool scene.
Well, knowing that it was going to be sold out and the student section was going to be full, as I walked in and it was raining, right, I'm thinking, I know those students are trying to get in here early to make sure they get a seat, a good seat. I just asked Lee Butler, I said, Lee, have the students started lining up yet? And he's like, yeah, man, they've been out there since like 8:50.
Wow.
I said, hey, man, let's go out there. I didn't even say anything about the cameras. I didn't know. I just wanted to go out there and thank them. But Lee, being the great administrator he is, gets the cameras out there. And it was just awesome to see that line from the door at Gate D almost over to like in between Champs and the Rec Center. It was incredible.
That's a long walk. You got your steps in, and I'm sure you, again, have to focus on the game. So when we get to the game itself, when the YC is like it was, do you at least allow yourself a couple seconds to look up and just soak it all in just for a second? I know you got to focus on the game, but you had to notice how incredible it was.
Well, I'm so locked in as the game is about to start that it's hard to like take it in then. But like, I want to say it was about 7:22 or so left on the clock, and we were still up pretty big, and I just happened to look down at the student section, and I was like, dang, that's elite.
Yes.
So I enjoyed it for about a second and a half.
Oh man, there was so much to enjoy. We're actually going to put a little bookmark in it and get back to the game, because last time we did talk, it was ahead of the Charlotte game.
Yes. And
I don't know if that crowd is like it is on Sunday. Maybe not a sell. It's going to be a good crowd. If what happened against Charlotte didn't happen. Down 17 in that game, I was there. This felt different. This felt like, all right, maybe the 49ers are too much. So I feel like I've asked you this question a couple times. I know Jim Lighthall on the radio side has, but what allowed that comeback to take place?
To be honest with you, Charlotte's and they're a really good team, but we weren't in character, to start that game. And it was really the Charlotte game that prepared us for the FAU game.
Interesting.
Because whenever you play, it was our first time not playing in front of a big crowd at home, but a crowd that big at home and on national TV. The Charlotte game, I think it was 9 p.m. on ESPN2 or something like that. And what normally happens is, man, you get in those games and the energy's crazy, the enthusiasm crazy, and you can get caught up in it a little bit as a player, and you can try to do a little bit too much. And so I thought what helped us in that Charlotte game was after halftime, we kind of just settled in, started trusting what we do, not what I do, what we do. And it fueled the comeback along with the energy that was in there that night. It was phenomenal.
I've never, ever been in that building. Let me think. No, never past midnight. And I didn't want to leave. The post-game show was still going on. So that sort of carries over to what just happened on Sunday. But the energy that has been built up in this program, you have people wanting to come watch the basketball team. And it's just been amazing. Can you appreciate that?
Oh, for sure. I can appreciate it because when Charlie Bradley sends me a text and says, hey, thanks for bringing the energy back to the YC. When I get a text from Rodinko this morning and said, man, you had great defense and ball movement yesterday.
Wow.
Like, I can appreciate that because that's what we set out to do. We set out to make not only all of Bulls Nation proud, but our forever Bulls, the guys that set the foundation for this program. We want them to be proud of the school that they went to, the program that they helped build, and the fact that the guys are representing them in a good light, it means the world to us.
I love watching those guys' reaction.
Yeah.
Charlie Bradley usually doesn't move until he's overwhelmed with emotion. Then he stands up and applauds. He's really cool about that. But Coach Pascal was there at that game, right?
Man, yeah. How could I forget about Coach Pascal? Coach Pascal has sent me a text either after the game or the next day, just thanking us for how we play and what we do. And it's just really cool because, again, I think as a coach, sometimes you get so caught up in what you're doing.
Right.
I try my hardest to be where my feet are, but never forget that there were people here who laid a foundation for me to be the head coach here. I think about Arthur Jones all the time.
Oh, yes.
The sacrifice and foundation he laid for a lot of us. But like Coach Pascal, man, he loves this place. And he loves supporting this place. And when he tells me, man, your defense was incredible tonight, I take it to heart. And it reminds me to make sure next practice, we're making sure we're staying focused on the things that got us to where we are.
Seems like every game there's a turnaround, or in the case of a fast start, that is what actually keys it. But it doesn't connect entirely to how unconscious the team is shooting three-pointers these days. Not just CY, not just Selton, but that was a big factor in the comeback at Rice, obviously, right from the get-go, and then setting the tone against Tulsa before we get, of course, back to what happened against FAU. Right. So has there been any extra attention paid to it, or is it just those guys' games coming around?
It's not just always on the players to make adjustments. We as coaches have to look at what we're doing and see where we can be better. I think that's the first thing we do. The easy thing to do is to say, well, he needs to play better. That's the easy thing to do. But accountability is a big word in our program. It's something that we hang our hats on. And if I'm going to hold them accountable, I've got to hold myself accountable first. And what we try to do is switch up how we start practice. Okay. So we can get off to better starts in the game. We do more competitive things to start practice. We've done more competitive things to start practice over the last week and a half, so we're not having those slow starts, and it's paid off.
All right, so back to Sunday, and for me, with all the attention that has come deservedly to you in the program and how legitimate the team is and how the guys that we talk about and we know how good they are, to me, I just wanted so badly for everybody nationally to see it. And they saw it.
Yeah.
Was there any, I'm guessing no, but was there any concern in your mind, like on that other side, like, boy, what if CY's shots aren't falling? What, because everything worked out and it was great to see, again, it on display for everyone in the nation.
You know, as I say all the time, to God be the glory, the praise is for him. But I don't really have that anxiety before games, because these guys work hard, man.
Yep.
Like, their preparation is really good. And when you, as a coach, when you know your players have put in the time, they put in the work, they're going to be successful. It's what the game gives to you. Yeah, they may have some off nights, but that's the beauty of our team. You know, if CY's not on, Selton's pretty good. You know, if Kobe's or if Sam or Brandon's not playing well, one of the others are. You know, Corey Walker, you know, Case and Pryor came off the bench yesterday, but Corey Walker's energy to start the game was phenomenal. And his play throughout the game, his consistency is, I'm so proud of that kid, man.
And when they're all hitting at the same time, you get
scary.
25-point lead.
Yeah,
You mentioned, we don't want to forget about him, Kobe Knox.
Oof.
You knew he had the talent, but
Yeah.
he is putting everything together.
Yeah, and you know, that's why I like early in the year when people were like, well, like, how long do you stick with him? You stay with him because he works. You know, they have a mantra in their family: no one works harder than the Knoxes, right? And that is true. I mean, Kobe's in this gym every day, and he had a little bit of a slow start to the season, I think, because he was back home. He's playing in front of family and friends. There's a different pressure that comes with that. And now he's settled right on in. The best thing about it is he's been the consistent defender all year, and now he's just making the shots that he's always been capable of making, because he's not, that same pressure of playing in front of family and friends is gone now.
Okay, so speaking of pressure, as you're up by 25 and FAU is getting 6 points a trip, or at least one time down the floor, and I'm saying things in my inward and sometimes in my outward voice that, you know, we can't repeat here on a family program. How do you keep it calm? Was it calm? How did you just manage to say, okay, it's coming, but we're going to be okay?
Again, you know, I'm thankful that I was brought up the right way in this business. My mentor, Billy Kennedy, I watched him 100 different times, you know, where we're not playing as well as we could possibly play as a player and on his coaching staff. And man, the dude is just even keel. He's just focused, you know, on the process, what the next play is. But again, the one thing this team has showed us all year is, man, they got resolve. They have great perseverance. The difference was yesterday, you know, on Sunday, was that normally we're trying to fight back from 20 down. Now we were trying to hold on, you know, and push forward. And the same resolve that it takes to come back is the same resolve that it takes not to panic when teams make a run. That's the game. They're a good team. They were going to make a run.
Very much so.
But as we say all the time in our program, it's not what happens, but how we respond that will set the tone and dictate what happens, what the outcome is. And we responded well by not panicking, not splintering, not going into our, like, me, let me do it on my own. They remained a team.
All right, so I guess now it's about the response to what's coming up.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the attention. I'm sure you're feeling it. Speak first on the national attention that continues to build up for the Bulls, and then how important it is to, you know, keep it even keel as much as you can. And by the way, another big game against SMU after UTSA. The Bulls host SMU on Sunday.
Yeah, as I've said a number of times, we really don't, like, we don't hear or pay attention to, like, what's going on nationally. If we do, I always give the credit to President Red Law, right? It's the credit is for the University of South Florida. We've got great athletics all the way around, you know, from men's basketball to Coach Jose Fernandez and this consistent 20 years of success that they've had, to, you know, softball got kicked off last week. Coach Ken Erickson and his ladies, Coach Mohl and the boys, you know, they had their first pitch, and I could go on and on and on. And so, like, as I tell the guys all the time, you know, you can pay, you know, you live by the cheers, You can die by the booze. Stay focused.
Die by the booze.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel any
And that's
booze.
not me. That's the great street poet Nipsey Hussle.
Yes. Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Got to get a reference for that
Yeah.
every chance. Now, we got to ask you one more thing. I talked about it at the very beginning, receipts. What's it been like at Starbucks these days? Hopefully you get that order, like they know what you want, they know you by name, and you don't have to pay for it because you're paying for everybody else.
Well, those Starbucks receipts are adding up. But you know what? They're not going to stop. We're going to make sure to get back out there and do it again, because this student body, that SoFlo Rodeo, that Heard of Thunder Band, they have been phenomenal in their support of this team. As I've said to the guys, when you're walking around campus, you get enough gear, wear it. Take your headphones off, hold the door for somebody, introduce yourself, invite them to a game. And obviously these guys are doing something right, because these students have really gotten behind them and supported them. And I just continue to encourage the students to get behind all of our sports. You know, get out to Gone Smart Family Pavilion. You know, catch a softball game, catch a baseball game. It's fun. I can't wait to go get my sunflower seeds and not have to, you know, just sit there and spit them on the ground and have a good day. It's gonna be fun.
It's really commendable that you go to all these games. I saw you at the softball game the other day, and it's just been a great thing to be a part of. And I'm trying to conjure up a drink named after you, but that'll be down the road at Starbucks.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you. Go Bulls.
Selton Miguel coming up next.
What is the SoFlo Rodeo?
SoFlo Rodeo is the student section for basketball at USF. It is the place to be every game day.
SoFlo Rodeo, for many people, it's a fan section. For us, it's a family. It's all the students. They love to get together. We have a blast. It's a great time. SoFlo is our family.
Describe the game day environment when you're a part of the SoFlo Rodeo.
The game day environment here, man, it's a party. Like, we just stay here, we stand up, we yell, we scream, we get hyped. It's just a party.
I mean, you're seeing some of it right behind me. SoFlo Rodeo is the most insane people I've ever seen. I've been to NFL games, hockey games, and SoFlo Rodeo puts them to work. We have a great fan section. They go crazy. I mean, you're hearing it right now. They're amazing people.
SoFlo Rodeo?
So they can become a part of the SoFlo Rodeo in a couple ways. Follow us on Instagram at SoFlo Rodeo. You can also connect with us on Bulls Connect, and you can just show up. We'll invite you in. You'll get, we always got food, shirts, merchandise. We always got something for you here. So anytime, you come find any of us and we'll invite you in.
Coke Lounge is always open an hour before game starts, and we just there, you show up, you be a part of it. That's all you gotta do, pretty easy. Favorite part's gotta be the people here, the environment. It's just fun. It's awesome. It's an awesome place to be.
My favorite part about being with SoFlo Rodeo is that I get a place to let loose. I get a place to go crazy. And I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't that involved in school before this. And now I get to be a part of things, and I get to have like a lasting impression on the people around me. SoFlo Rodeo just gives me a place to have fun.
Back on BullsEYE with no one other than the man himself, Selton Miguel. Selton, 25 points against number 24 that you're coming off of. You looked so smooth. You looked so confident out there. It was so fun to watch. What was working for you? How were you feeling out there?
It was just really the environment. The environment was crazy. The fans was crazy. The coaches keep giving us confidence. Just be there, play your game, trust your work, and then that's what I did. Just stay confident throughout the game and trust my work.
Well, talk to me about that environment, having that support of the SoFlo Rodeo behind you, that sold-out crowd. What was that like for you guys? Can you feel it down on the court? Do you use that when you're playing?
For real, for sure, we do use that. It's probably one of our biggest support for sure. Like when they start going crazy, we start going crazy too. So like, they pushing us just like we push them throughout the game, no matter if we down or up. So that energy really translates to the game, and then just give us more time to go and really just focus on us more than everybody else.
Yeah, well, I know you're there to play, but did you ever take a minute and kind of soak it all in a little
Yeah,
bit?
I do. Most of the times I do.
Good.
For sure.
Good. Well, I know I talked to you after the game, and you said Coach Amir put us on the board, and we can see that camaraderie on the court. Can you guys feel that on the court?
Sure, we do. We are always together no matter what. No matter if we're at home or away, it's just us as the team, as the people that put the work in almost every day. People that be in the living room, it's just us. People don't know what we go through on a daily, so that's why it's just us. Not just because we're playing basketball, but it's because we just us as a collective, togetherness.
I know you've also said, when you talk about relationships like that, I want to touch on your relationship with Coach, because you've also said you stayed for a reason, and a big part of that is the trust that you have in Coach Amir. Talk to me about your relationship with him.
Definitely, one guy is one of a kind, man. Mm-hmm. That guy's one of a kind. Definitely put my trust in him. He came open arms. He told me what kind of player I was. He knew what kind of player I was. He told me, if you stay, we're going to do big things. We're going to do great things. We're going to change the environment here at USF. So really trust him, really talk to him through the summer, through the spring, when he was recruiting me still, when he first got the job. And I just feel like it was the right person to lead me and to really develop me as not just a basketball player, but as a man too. So.
Yeah. Well, what has that transition been like for you? Because you have such a history with USF, and to see you grow the way you have over, under Coach Amir has been such a treat to watch, honestly. So how has that been for you?
It's been really good. I'm just blessed to be in this position. All praise to the man above, to put Coach Amir in my life. Not just Coach Amir, but the whole staff, Coach Fletch, Coach O, Coach Don, just everybody on the staff. I mean, it's really they really family. So I feel pretty good coming in every day. Just know that even though I don't have a good day, but just know it's family. It'll make me laugh a little bit. So it's just really a family environment.
Well, let's go back to even before USF. Talk me through your background, because you have an incredible story. Growing up in 3 different countries since you were 11, being away from family, going to military school in Portugal, having to learn English, coming to the States. Walk me through all of that and how you were able to navigate that so well.
Yeah, so first, I'm from Angola, of course. I was born there, I was raised there. I stopped playing basketball there when I was 8. Then I moved to Portugal when I was 11. That's when I went to military school. Portugal and Angola speak the same language, Portuguese. So my dad's family lives in Portugal. My mom's from Angola. That's why we moved there, to stay with my dad's family side. When I was there, I went to military school and I was still playing basketball. So when I was 14, that's when schools here saw me playing in Portugal, and then really, it's like, you young, but you got potential, so can give a scholarship to come to the States and play high school basketball. So I was like, why not? I mean, States is the best place to play basketball, so why not? I have my education. So from there, I came to the States, came to Orlando. It was the first school I came to, West Oaks Academy. Great people there. They took me open arms. And then from there, it's really just been a blessing. I mean, from there, I went to Kansas State after I graduated. I was there for 2 years, and then I ended up here at USF, and here we are now.
What was the biggest adjustment coming to the States?
I'll
Getting
say
used to that new way of life?
Just the culture and the language, it was different because I had to learn English all over again. It was difficult at first. When I got here, I was in class, I didn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I had to really catch up fast. But the good thing is I came over the summer, so I still had 3 months before the school start to really at least know a little bit of English, so I go to school, at least I know what's going on. So it's been good and it's been bad because my family not here, but at the same time I had an opportunity to do something that nobody in my family ever did, so I'm grateful for that. So it's been pretty good.
What are some of the differences you've seen in the basketball culture back home and here?
I would say, of course, here's more like, what do you mean by that?
like the basketball scene in Angola and in Portugal, how does that differ than what you're experiencing now?
It's really different. It's really
Yeah?
different. Both all them countries different because Angola is one environment. It's more like we play in the streets. It's like just happiness. So it's not really a lot over there. So whatever we got over there is what makes us happy. Of course, Portugal is different because you're in another continent. Over there, things are more involved and things like that. But in the States, everything's just. I think States is about sports, not just basketball, but like football, baseball. So like I think it's just a sports environment overall in the States. So it's been pretty good.
You can see that happiness when you play. When you started, was it your choice to start? Did your parents encourage you to start? Did everyone kind of play in Angola growing up? Was it just a natural thing? Or?
I first started playing soccer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but then I was getting too tall, and my dad was like, "You want to try anything else?"
Yeah.
Because he run track.
Okay.
And my dad's 6'6", but he run track. So like, and then from there I just tried basketball, and then I fell in love with it. To be honest, and from there, yeah.
You think soccer helped you in any way? When
It did for my
basketball?
footwork. It did help me with my footwork for sure.
I can imagine. Now, I look at comments on social media a lot, okay? And we've done quite a few post-game interviews together, and I go through the comments, and I see so much support from back home in Angola saying, "We're watching you back home, we're supporting you back home." That's so cool for me to see. I can't imagine how cool it is for you to see.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, I'm just blessed to be in this position because I'm probably the first doing it in my country. Second, because we got another player in the NBA right now from my country, but I'm probably second doing it. But like just the support I have every day, not just sometimes, is really big. Through good games, through bad games, through just know them. My history here is really big, not just for me, but for the whole country. So that support really helps me every day. Every day, it really helps me every day.
Strong support back home, strong support here. You've definitely found a home here. Talk to me about your teammates and how you're gelling with them because, you know, this new team, I can imagine, you know, a lot of adjustments, but you guys are gelling like crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a big adjustment when we first came together over the summer, just to make sure like our goals is new. This is a whole new team, new people. We just meeting them and everything, but like, we had Friday road games. I don't know if Coach Amir told you. It was like different experiences just to see how you're going to respond, put us in uncomfortable situations, so to see how as a team you're going to respond. So that definitely helped us a lot.
Right, that's when you went to the parking garages to work out. You went to the baseball stadium to work out, I think.
Yes.
That was super cool. Did you have a fave?
Football field. Football field was my favorite.
Fun.
Yeah. So just do throughout these experiences, and then just really like come together and really trying to like, I would say like trying to like, how can I put this together?
Build that culture.
Build that culture and trying to like sacrifice for each other.
Yeah.
That's what really helped us. So just understand why each other brings to the table every day, not just on the court, but like off the court.
Yeah.
And just really understand everybody's history because everybody's different and everybody got a different background. Everybody go through different things throughout the day. So just really understand and be there for each other. That's what really helped us.
You guys definitely know how to lock in together. I see you pregame locked in. You got your headphones on. You're in the zone. What are you listening to? Because I wonder that.
I listen to Miguel.
Okay.
Listen to Miguel for sure. Because he a rapper, but like he raps about motivational purposes. So like that's really my motivation. One day be playing pro somewhere that everybody knows what's the goal. So really listening to him like really helps me not just relax a little bit, but like really know like it's time to go. So yeah.
Do you do anything else pregame?
I do.
Any other rituals? Any superstitions?
Yeah, I do. I pray a lot. I call my mom, and then I put my headphones on.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is that time difference?
5 hours.
Okay. So they watch games. They keep in touch with you all the time. Do they?
Most of the time, my mom stay up because like yesterday, basically I think most of my country was watching because it was early game.
Yeah, true.
But normally when we play at 7, it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, but my dad and my mom still watching. So like I'm gonna get home around like 9, they're gonna call me. everything okay, things good, yeah.
Yeah, that's
so they
super
still watching,
special.
yeah.
Super special. Well, by this time, they probably know, and viewers probably know, that you are this week's AAC Player of the Week.
Oh.
You didn't know that yet,
I
but how
did.
cool is that for you, right?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. That's crazy. But yeah, there's just I take that as like I said, I think to my teammates, they really trust me. They really know what can I bring to the table, and with that help, really show what kind of player I am. So I just really thank to my teammate and thank to the staff, and really thank to my family too. Like they really keep me in order every day, make sure I do the right things on and off the court. So that's why I really, like I say, it's a family environment in every way. Yeah.
We are all so proud of you. You are such a treat to watch. Thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Up next, Derek Sharp is headed to baseball to talk with Coach Billy Mohl. Coming up next.
Man, we found a really good location for this interview with baseball head coach Billy Mohl and this is a little peek behind the curtain, the athletic director's suite. Michael Kelly can sit where he wants to in a game, and sometimes he has guests in here. You don't get to see this room very often, but pretty swanky.
Yeah. It's nice, comfortable area to watch a ball game.
Yeah, it is. And of course, you get a pretty good view yourself down there on the field, where the Bulls this past weekend tried to get in 3 games. They only got 1. We'll get more into the schedule and all that, but your 7th season and some changes with the staff, and I know that you bring back a couple familiar faces before we get into the guys on the team. Your decision to bring back Chris Cates and Alan Kunkel, who we love.
Yeah, I mean, they were both part of the winning tradition a few years ago. So I want to get back to where we should be, get back to the regionals, get back to a super, and hopefully get this program in Omaha. And both of them were a large part of when we were having success, so it's great to have both of them back.
And is the unofficial title that Kunkel is the offensive coordinator and Cates is the running game coordinator?
Correct. Kunkel will run the offense on a day-to-day with the hitters, and then Cates is our running game coordinator. So
he's a guy that can run around. Actually, his Louisville team had all these stolen base records when he was there, and of course, the Bulls didn't get to see them this weekend. But talking about the schedule, begin with UConn and Indiana State, a couple of regional teams. But it doesn't just stop there. You wanted to load up.
Yeah, I mean, we want a competitive schedule. We want a chance to get to the tournament without having to win a conference tournament. In terms of RPI, we want quality opponents that you have to win series for, that position yourself at the end of the year to get in that large bid.
Now, part of that is, of course, having the pitching staff to do it. And you bring back a lot of guys from last season. You boost the staff a little bit. Speak about how that part of the Bulls is looking this season.
Yeah, I mean, from game 1 against UConn, it looks like we made some improvements, but again, it's only 1 game. I'm with these guys each and every day, so a lot of new faces going to get opportunities this week to see where we're at and give us an idea going forward of where we need to improve and, you know, what we exactly have.
You said working with the guys, you had a pitching coach the last couple of seasons. You know a little bit about pitching. So take us through like the day-to-day and in-game of being the quote-unquote pitching coach as well as, of course, being the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of back in the role that I had here previous from 2015 to 2021, basically. So not much changes. I'm kind of more hands-off with the offense. I trust Kunkel and Cates to run the offense, and I am solely focused on our pitching staff and our bullpen, and I will put my input in when the game needs it.
Okay, so your input. I'm always curious because I've never been a pitcher, believe it or not. When you go out to speak to your guy, sometimes it can be a real quick word, right? But sometimes, what's the maximum amount you're allowed to talk to them, and kind of what's your idea if you're not going out to pull the guy?
Yeah, I mean, they give you some time to talk, but I mean, normally when I go out there, I'm trying to calm the guy down, trying to loosen him up, talking about a situation, just trying to bring him back into the moment, because obviously something's not going right at that point if I'm out there. So I try to keep it light, try to keep it lighthearted, and try to get him back at the mission, the task at hand.
I was going to say, A, do you ever tell a joke or try and think of something? And B, does the pitcher ever give something back to you?
Yeah. We've had some good ones. We've had some good back and forth. So. You know, pitchers are special creatures. You got to keep them light on their toes. So, you know, and sometimes some of them need a good kick in the butt sometimes too. So, you know, it's good to be back doing that again.
It makes me think of one of those probably special creatures, Shane McClanahan, and you know, here at the stadium, just to our left, something that's beautiful and new. You have a whole wall, and everything's been redone here. The painting job, it looks great at the stadium. But a Bulls in the pros: Shane, Pete Strzelecki, David Villar, Coco Montez. It is tremendous. Oh yeah, Ryan Kirkering. We'll get to him in a second. But
Don't leave off Phoenix Sanders.
yeah, oh my God. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yep.
So first of all, talk about the refurbishing here. I mean, it's not just what people can see, but maybe some things they can't see.
Yeah, I mean, the new paint job. Paint makes everything look brand new. It's refreshing. But then we wanted to pay homage to the Bulls from the past that have gone on and reached their dreams. And we've had quite a few of them in my time here. So we want to honor those guys by putting their pictures out on the concourse so that everybody remembers who they are and what they meant to this program.
It looks incredible, and I know they're still part of the program and still keep in touch. But I think the last time we spoke, it was as you were getting ready to be inducted into the Tulane Athletics Hall of Fame. We'll get to that in a second. But we, at that time, were talking about the chance for Ryan Kirkering, to maybe get a call-up someday. And I think maybe 4 hours later he did. How cool was it to be a part of it? I know you saw him in person, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I got to go to Philadelphia. I've never been to Philadelphia before, and I got to see him pitch in the NLCS, and that was incredible.
Wow.
Philly's a different atmosphere. That was a really cool sports town, and more importantly, it was really cool to see Kirkering and his dad and his whole posse there to celebrate him being in the big leagues, and to be pitching in that situation was unbelievable.
We all watched it. Different sports town. Are they really friendly to the other team?
No, not at all. It is a special place. It is not fun being a visitor in Philadelphia.
How did it go with Tulane? I know it's been a while now, but did you keep it together during the speech? Folks, he was a pretty good pitcher with the Green Wave.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good time. I was honored. It was emotional. It was a lot of good things in my life happened my 7 years in New Orleans. So it was just kind of time to reflect back and spend it with my family and relive some of the glory days.
Hey, you're allowed to do that. As we start to wrap it up here with Billy Mohl, offense for this team. Opener, you had a lineup purely with returners from last year. I know you love what you saw from the team last year. What has kind of changed to try and get to the next level offensively, although it's probably going to be a strong point?
Yeah, I mean, opening weekend you're facing three, regional, super regional type teams, so that the pitching is going to be good. So it's hard to get a gauge on one game against UConn. I like where our offense is at. I like that we're veteran. I like that we're older. We didn't really get a chance to get the offense going. Anytime, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, you install a new system, it's got to marinate a little bit with some time. So we got to do a better job this week. Get guys comfortable. I think guys were a little amped up against UConn, trying to do a little too much. And, the game always knows when you do that. You got to play the game, and you got to keep your emotions in check and just go out and play. You're not playing the opponent, you're playing the game.
And just for a timing purpose, we're taping this on a Monday morning. There has just been one game played. But what I saw in it from one guy, and of course Eric Snow, a tremendous player, but Bobby Bozer, not just with the home run, but with the defense. I mean, you got some future pros on this team. Speak about him particularly.
I mean, Bobby Bozer, he's Bobby ball player to me. I mean, he's a great player. He brings 100% effort every single day he's out there. He's a perfect representation of what this program is in terms of blue collar. It is great watching him go out. He's going to have his good days. He's going to have his bad days, but you can guarantee from Bobby Bozer that you're getting his best effort every day.
And we saw a lot of defense. Mentioned Mr. Snow. Can that be a strong point of this team?
Up the middle, we're really strong. It's exciting to see those guys. It gives you comfort in the pitching staff to know that you keep the double plays in order. You're athletic up the middle. Got a little bit more range. So, it's two special guys right there up the middle.
And a couple more things. I want you to get your thoughts on the new teams in the conference. We're a ways away from the conference schedule, obviously. But you mentioned scheduling strong out of league. And people might think, because their conference is okay. No, it's a good league.
Oh, it's a really good league. You got FAU that we've added to the league that's been good every year. They just went up to Vanderbilt and gave them everything they could handle this past weekend. You got UTSA, who was the top Conference USA last year. Charlotte, Coach Woodard over there has got them rolling. They've been in the region, I think, the last 2 years. UAB with Casey Dunn. Casey's in his third year at UAB, came from Samford, where he had all the success in the world. And Rice, which is a perennial, that's a name in college baseball everybody knows. So it's only a matter of time before they get it going again. But it's a really good baseball league.
So no matter the opponent, fans can come out and watch a good brand of baseball on both sides. it was a big crowd on Friday night to get things going. How much does it mean to the guys when the crowd's juiced up like that and a large in number?
Oh, especially opening day. I mean, they saw all that. You know, we've been playing with people dressed up as green seats for the last 7 months. And to have that stadium full and loud, I think they're a little too amped up. I know our guys appreciate it. They get fired up for it. Now we got to learn how to play with that crowd. So we got to calm it down and go to work.
And as we wrap up, speaking of amped up and big crowds, you got to watch the first half of the basketball game on Sunday. What was that like from a baseball guy? I'm sure you appreciated it.
There's been a few moments since I've been here for 10 years, and one was Drew Butcher's home run in the Super Regional where you got goosebumps down. But yesterday when I walked into the Yingling Center for the first time and I saw that, I walked in and the whole student section was full. That was incredible. That gave me chills. And watching what they're doing right now, it's a lot of fun, a lot of energy in that building right now.
Well, let's keep the energy with that and keep the energy with Bulls. Thank you very much, Billy Mohl, for joining us today on BullsEYE.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Eric.
We'll get back to basketball. I'll wrap it up here next. That was awesome talking to Billy Mohl, and of course before that, Amir, Abdur-Rahim, and Selton Miguel. Baseball was supposed to play, as we said, just the whole weekend filled. Rain had other ideas. They're back at it this weekend. I know you're basketball focused mostly these days, but you get to hang around with the guys a little bit. See them walking around in your daily environment.
Totally. I ran into Jack Siebert the other day in the hall, and I was like, "How you feeling, Jack?" And he kind of puffed up a little bit and said, "Like, I'm feeling good. I put on a lot of weight in the off season."
In case you hadn't noticed, Jack Siebert.
We can't wait to get out there. I'm like, "Let's go, Jack."
We will be doing a baseball-centric show along with softball once basketball season is over, and I'm sure we'll interview Jack Siebert. And I actually was talking to him for my show on the radio side. Free plug, by the way, Bulls Unlimited on your TuneIn app. I do a show 3 times a week called Bulls Beat, and we interviewed a lot of the players. And I was halfway through talking to him, like, all right, I'm not going to ask him, hey, man, been working out, but he has been. He has been. So hopefully
you can tell.
The Bulls, 15, 20 pounds. Hey, Jack, good job. And the guys will be back at home this weekend. We do want to mention for sure, and again, if you want to listen to it on the radio side, great. I will be calling it on Thursday, but maybe come to the softball stadium because they've already played a lot of great teams so far. But on the same day, Thursday, a doubleheader for softball against 2 teams that made the College World Series last year.
Huge.
Washington and Oklahoma State are both in the top 10 back-to-back. I know we had Ken Erickson on the last show, but if you missed it, we sort of harped on that whole thing, and they're looking great. And by the way, definitely want to mention how the team persevered despite a very tough week last week, losing their loved one, Alexis Buckman, who passed away after having brain cancer. But she's going to inspire the team. They're going to stay buck strong throughout the course of the year. They are off to a 7-3 start, and again are back at home for 2 top 10 teams this week. Hey, nice job diving into the SoFlo Rodeo. One guy
was pretty
said
fun,
that
wasn't it?
Sunday was better than going to an NFL game.
I loved hearing that. He, talked about all the pro games he's been to and the NFL stadiums, but he said nothing compares to the energy he feels with the SoFlo Rodeo here. So that was super cool to see. They bring the juice. They bring the energy.
Now, were they trying to overbring the energy at the end? I know there was tight security to prevent the court storm, because you can't. I know maybe people wanted to storm the court, but when there's 10,000 people, you kind of have to watch out.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted to. A couple on the other side of the court got on a bit, but in front of the SoFlo Rodeo, they lined it with cops. So we had a bit heightened security.
But smartly, they did not prevent our players from coming in and mingling.
Yes.
How awesome is that to see?
I love that. Our players, Coach Amir, Coach Amir goes over to the band first and jams out with them, which I love every win. And then he goes into the SoFlo Rodeo with them, and they take their selfies and their videos, and our players too, vibe with them. And that's cool to have that sense of community and that relationship with the student athletes and the fans.
And it's good that he can do that after a win. As he said, he can't allow himself to really soak it in while the game's going on. He's got coaching to do. I wanted to ask, though, but you get to soak it in and I get to soak it in.
100%.
And I'm sure that unlike he's looking at the game, that you get to look at it and really appreciate what's going on these days.
So many moments. I just took a breather to myself and looked around, took it all in, and to see that sea of green, up the student section was very, very special to see. And they got their chants going. They had the glow sticks going. Everything was synchronized, and they know how to do it. They really do.
Well, the upper level was filled, and it does remind me, as a guy who was a kid in the 80s watching Charlie Bradley, and my dad took me to the games in the Sundome, and we sat in the upper deck because they were playing Georgetown in those days, and I have those memories. It's awesome that a lot of people, I think, are getting those same memories, and not too late for you to be a part of it, because this Sunday is another opportunity. Now, we didn't get into the whole computer rankings and that kind of thing. I need to talk to the computer guy. Bulls are in the 90s. The team they're playing this week, I looked at the schedules, very similar. SMU is ranked in the 30s, but hey, that's who the Bulls play on Sunday, and if they win, they're going to keep moving up and keep this win streak going. Hopefully, that game is nationally televised on ESPN2, another national audience for the men's basketball team. Show up this Sunday at noon. Women's basketball is on the road this week for 2 games, and then after that, 1 more game at home, and they'll be off to Fort Worth before you know it. Yeah, the conference tournament time is coming up. Are you going to be able to keep it under control, Caylee? I'm starting to get emotional just thinking about it.
Man, yeah, it's the anticipation is so real. Just loving taking, these teams taking us through game by game and trying to take it game by game, but like that anticipation is so real.
Well, it's just awesome to be a part of, and we appreciate you kind of going through the journey with us on BullsEYE. We love presenting it to you. For all of our guests, Head Coach Amir, Abdur-Rahim, Selton Miguel, and Billy Mohl, and for Caylee Cottrell, my co-host, I'm Derek Sharp. Thanks for watching. Keep those horns up.